Hey, special educators. Welcome to Teach, Task Box, Inspire, the podcast dedicated to making your job as a special education teacher easier by making your instruction more fun for you and your students. Inside each episode, you'll learn how to get the most use out of your task boxes in the classroom. I'm your host, Lisa Hollady from Chalkboard Superhero, a veteran special education teacher passionate about empowering you with purposeful teaching strategies, helpful tips and tricks, and other classroom management tools that will help you thrive in your role. Let's get started with today's episode. Hey there, special education teachers, and welcome back to another episode of Teach, Task Box, Inspire. I'm your host, Lisa Hollady, and today we're diving into a topic that can save you time, energy, and stress. This is all about how to leave your classroom at the end of the day ready for tomorrow. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, once that bell has rung or once my contract ends, I am out the door. But I'm telling you, this is going to relieve that stress, save you time and energy. So stick with this episode. So let's face it, our days are super busy, and leaving the classroom in chaos only makes the next day feel more overwhelming. And sometimes when I walk in, especially if my desk is so overwhelming to me, I can let that affect the rest of my day. But with a few simple systems and routines in place, you can end each day feeling calm, collected, and totally prepared for the next day. So let's jump right into it. All right, the key to leaving your classroom ready for tomorrow starts with a solid end-of-the-day routine. Think of it as kind of like your reset button. It's not about tidying up, but really about setting yourself up for success. Whether you're a brand new teacher or you're a veteran teacher, you can learn a few things from this episode. So here's why this matters. Number one, it's going to save you time in the morning when your energy is fresh. It's going to reduce that stress because you're not scrambling to find materials or trying to find that one data sheet that you need or the copies that you need made. This is going to allow you to focus on your students and not really the logistics, right? A solid end-of-the-day routine doesn't have to take a lot of time. In fact, with just 15 to 20 minutes of focused effort, you can leave confident and ready to tackle tomorrow. And that's kind of what we all need. Now, I know some days you're just like, I just want to get out of here. And you almost walk out when the students are leaving. But I promise, if you just take that little bit of time at the end of the day, you are going to love your tomorrow self. Let's break this down into actionable steps that you can start using tomorrow, right? Number one, tidy with intention. Before you leave, take 3 to 5 minutes to tidy up your desk or any shared spaces that you have. Clear surfaces, file the papers, put away materials. Even better, get your students involved. Teach them to clean up their work areas as part of their end-of-the-day routine. This not only saves you time, but helps them learn responsibility and how to be independent in their own areas. And you can even set a timer for yourself at the end of the day. If you only have 3 minutes, then set the timer for 3 minutes and do a little 3-minute tidy. All right, number two, prep tomorrow's materials. Gather all the materials you'll need for tomorrow's lessons or activities. Place them in a bin or labeled tray or folder so they're super easy to grab in the morning. Don't forget to reset any visuals or token boards or independent work systems. Having everything prepped means you can hit the ground running as soon as the day begins. Now, if this only usually takes you about 5 minutes, set the timer for another 5 minutes. Now you're up to 8 minutes, right? At the end of the day routine. Tip number 3, set your daily schedule. I want you to update all the visual schedules or classroom agenda for the next day. This really helps you and any of your paraprofessionals or staff really stay on the same page, and it provides your students with a predictable routine. Consistency is key, especially for our kiddos who really super thrive on that structure. Another thing is if you are an inclusion teacher, you might not be able to kind of have those visual schedules or some kind of schedule in your own classroom, but having something prepared for any of your students is something that you can do for this tip number 3. All right, tip number 4 is to tackle your emails efficiently. Emails can be a huge time suck, but with a plan, you can manage them without letting them kind of take over your whole life. So here's how. Number 1, set a time limit. So get that timer out and set it for 5-10 minutes at the end of the day. Maybe you want to prioritize your emails and focus on the emails that require immediate responses. So like parent communication or updates for your administration, you want to flag anything that can wait or you can handle it or designate for another time tomorrow. So for example, something that you're like, oh, fill out this form by Friday. Yeah, flag that. You can get it to tomorrow. But say you have a parent who says, hey, Johnny left his homework there, or what's going on with Johnny, or I need a response right now. Those are the things that need to be prioritized to be answered right then and there. So anything that can be answered tomorrow during your morning routine or your planning time, just flag so that you can get to it tomorrow. A lot of times I happen to check my emails when I'm walking to the bathroom or I'm walking to lunch, which usually takes me 1 or 2 minutes. I can flag my emails that way too, which takes less time in the afternoon for me to be flagging. The last thing I'm going to say about tackling emails is templates are your friend, guys. Save time by using templates for common emails like parent updates or a reminder to your paraprofessionals or anything like that. And remember, it's okay to log out. Boundaries are super important and you deserve time to recharge. So make sure that you're not staying over time. So that's why I always say set a timer. Once that timer beeps, you're done with emails. Tip number 5, and this is kind of like my last tip, is to prepare your data sheets, because I have a lot of students who have, BIPs or behavior intervention plans that I have to take data for. I have other students who I am taking just preliminary data for, or just random data that you want to take on any students. So this is kind of the backbone to everything we do in special education. So having your data sheets ready is essential. So number 1, review the data that you took today, right? So take a quick glance at what you took, or you could probably flag it for tomorrow if you're running behind. Just put a note on it and say, look at Johnny's data for tomorrow. You want to reset and reorganize. So make sure you're replacing all of those data sheets. I hate when I come in the next morning and I'm like, oh shoot, I ran out. Now I need to print more. So you want to make sure you have all of those ready to go. All of your binders, your clipboards, or whatever digital tools you might be using to have everything ready to grab. So the second thing I want to talk to you about these data sheets is I try to pre-fill what I can on those sheets. Dates, student names. We have an ABCD schedule, so I like to add that as another form of information. And so I make sure that I have all of my data sheets already pre-filled out for whatever I can, so that is ready for the next day. You guys, this end of the day routine should not take you more than 15 to 20 minutes at the end of the day. If you want to shorten it up, shorten all of those times by a few minutes, and you can get out of the school on time. All right, so there you have it. My top tricks, super quick and super fast for ending your day, feeling ready for tomorrow. And so just to recap, you want to tidy up your desk or workstations with intention. You want to prep tomorrow's materials today. You want to set up your daily schedule. You want to tackle any of those emails, and you want to prep all your data sheets. Somebody once said, okay, Lisa, I don't understand. Going through my desk, the things on my desk takes me forever. I cannot clean up my desk before the next day. Here's a helpful hint. Grab a giant bin and clear off your desk and say, okay, I'm going to go through this tomorrow. Or set aside a time. On Thursdays, I go through all my desk crap. All of my desk crap. You can even label that if you really want to, and put it underneath your desk. So at the end of the day, just pile everything in this little bin maybe it's a big bin, and put it under your desk and say, on Thursdays, I stay late to go through all my desk crap. At least every single morning, you'll come in with a clean, nice, fresh desk that you won't have to go, where is everything? Because you know where everything is. It's underneath your desk, but anything that you need to go is on that desk and ready. So with these systems in place, you'll walk out of the classroom feeling accomplished and walk back in the next day feeling ready to take on whatever comes your way. Especially in my role, I am putting out fires left and right all of the time. I just don't have a lot of time to do all of the other stuff. So, do you have your own end of the day tips that work for you? I would love to hear them. So you can share them with me on Instagram, or you can send me a message. Thank you guys so much. I really, really hope this episode has helped you in any tiny little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Teach, Taskbox, Inspire. I hope you've gained some tips and motivation to fuel your week ahead. If you're ready to explore more strategies for empowering your students as independent learners, be sure to dive into my free training at chalkboardsuperhero.com/training. And don't keep all this knowledge to yourself. Share this episode with your special education teacher friends who could use some motivation and inspiration. One more thing before you go. If you're finding this podcast helpful and want to show support, head to Apple Podcasts and leave your rating and review. Until next time, keep teaching, taskboxing, and inspiring.